hear it all, and when I do hear it, I go, oh, I heard that, what, in there, right? But when I go to say it again, then I have to practice saying, or, see, so it's not really a full-on K like in English, it's actually a consonant blend, or, it's like a sound, okay?
Like a breathy K.
Yeah, a breathy K, exactly. Now see, now if I were being able to hear Yurok my whole life growing up, see, I didn't hear all that. My brain would be recording it, and then when I started mimicking it out of my oral tract, and my nasal and throat tract, see, then I would produce those eventually.
Articulate it better?
Yeah, you articulate, and you'd have knowledge that it exists. See, if your ears don't even know those sounds exist, see, so what happens to us as English speakers, as all of us in here, our mother language is English, then we would go like, so one of the big classics is, so we have this morpheme, the sound Dee-ni, the unvoiced version of L, okay? So here's L, and then, so this is the voiced version, and this is the voiceless version. But what our English ear and our English mouth says is sa.
Yeah.
All the time. Slink turns to slink. Sluk turns to sluk. You know, it's just because what we're working with is the ears that we have, that we've been trained by, and then the speech apparatus that we use to say those sounds. So what the brain does is a one-to-one match. It goes, sounds like suck to me, and so it turns into a suck, just unconsciously at first. And you can see this even like in words that are borrowed from two different languages, like even the word, ha you cheat, right? So you got ha, and then you got you, and then cheat. Okay, there's an Indian word, ha you cheat, and it got anglicized to ha you cheat. Ha you cheat. See? Because what English is going to do, it does not have an X, right? Or ha, it has an H though. Oh, I got that. That's a ha, not a ha. See, and then we got a, how do they spell it? I-O-U-C-H-I. Okay, and then here's your U. So you got.
Put it I.
Okay, here's the hi.
Mine.
So there's the hi, and here's the U, and there's the cheat. See, so what the English ear and the English oral tract did is goes. Ha-you-chi. Ha-you-chi. I can say that. You see what I'm saying? And then it gets borrowed, written down, and then bam, it's just on the map, and then there it is, you know. You got a new word in English, see? In this case. What? Yeah, hawanquat is another great example. So you got ha, quat. We have no glottal stops in English. So if you hear what, they're going to say, I didn't hear that, so we got a, and then we got a, and then we got a Q for some crazy reason. It could have been a K. I mean, in English.
Queen.
Yeah, queen. Yeah, so how queen. It's actually quat, so it should have been a K, but anyway, whatever. Whoever wrote it down the first time. So there you can just see it there. So how, one, quat. It's pretty. What's missing is the glottal stop and the adjective here. This is quat, not quat. And now it's how and quat. Right? Stop at the how to steak or whatever it says on the radio. Because see, there's an English speaker saying how and quet, you know. Anyway, so that's a borrowing the other, and then we borrow words. Okay, so let's borrow one from the few borrowed.
Just like hush, because everyone says hush.
Talking.
Yeah. So so we got a word ja mu de. Okay, ja mu de. Potatoes, right? And you peel, not Indian potatoes, okay? But where it came from was from the Spanish, who brought it here from Mexico, okay? In Mexico, there's an Indian language that came up with the word camote. I don't know how you spell it, but it's camote, probably like that, somehow like that. And so when the Spanish first came along the coast, they came here early. They were here in the 15th century, right? They didn't bother to colonize up here for whatever reason, thank goodness, or whatever. I mean, they didn't bother us that much. Came by trade or whatever. But they brought these yams from Mexico. And so they landed one time at Lake Earl Village at Chilette. And so they came ashore, built their fire, whatever, set up their camp. And then they took these camote and they shoved them in the hot sand and they baked them. And then they cooked them, and then they took them up, peeled them, and ate them. And then the Indians are all listening to this. Camote. Well, then they tried the camote, and so they went home and said, it's a jamute. See what I mean? So one for one. So mo, moo. And see, we don't have, the O sound doesn't exist in Dee-ni, right? So then that had to become ooh, see? See how it just became moo? Because we don't have a mo. There's no O available in the language, see? So ka, mu, cha, mu, so ka, see this actually could be like, right, like this, right? So we could have went this way with our language, ka, mu, that, but they went cha for some reason. Again, our ancestors did this, right? This is old now. Cha, so anyway, so the ear, the knowledge, comes together in the new word.
Is that E? Does that have anything to do with eating?
Chong?
No.
Do, not in this case. It doesn't, now,
Read, that's a rabbit hole.
Chong,
She likes the rabbit hole.
but see, the thing is that, see, with Chong, what's going on here are the phonemic stuff. See, because this is a very strongly and readily used sound in Dee-ni, which is ch. See, so yeah, it just borrowed that ch right off the bat. See what I'm saying? And just slammed it in there. Kamote, cha, mute. See what I'm saying? So phonology is again inherent to the language. It has certain sounds available to it, and then when it hears a new word, it's going to just plug it in the best it can to what it knows, exactly. Okay, and so that's how new words are borrowed. Now these are called borrowings. Now the thing is, it doesn't make the language less the language. Some people have this belief, and thank God, hopefully people are getting over it, that if you borrow words in our language, that you're destroying our language. Well, just because we borrowed one word, cha-mu, that doesn't change syntax, doesn't change how I can inflect it, doesn't change that I can own it or I can give it away. It's just an item that's brought into the language, has no impact on the language. What the language did is impacted how it was going to say it. It did change that because it made it borrowed into the sound system. But it did not.
You said lashi.
Yeah, lashi from Rosa. Rosie became lashi. Yeah. See, and that's another good example of like so somebody got an English name Rosie, and the Indians started calling her Lashi. Okay, that's people's grandma, great grandma by now, great grandma. See, so again, there's no R sound in our language. You have no sound. So, but it's a rhotic sound. It's in the center of the mouth. So phonologically, see. So this becomes L, and we don't have an O. We already said that over here in Kamote. So it's Lashi, Rosi. See what I'm saying? So it becomes Lashi. So it shifted over to Lashi. Lashi. That was. So that's again a borrowing into the language. Now again, just because you borrow Lashi into the language did not change the language for an iota. It didn't change the grammar, the structure, the history. Well, most of the history because now we're adding a new word. But that's it. So be aware of that. So don't be afraid, for whatever reason, to expand our language. Okay. Now the other way, of course, and this is not phonologic in a way, but is that you would learn then to describe a word. So how we take new words in the language is we can also create words. Okay. And there was a belief for a long time you could not create new words. There's no way you can create new words for the language. But then it's not even true. So wrong syllable. Okay. So this means metnatra. Metnatra means telephone. Well, they were invented before I could talk. And so I did not invent this word. I always have to defend myself, I guess. Let me beat that over a lot. But anyway, but what you need to know about this is really kind of cool. So do you guys know the word na'a?